Alright, guys, this is a dumb idea, but me and Victor are going to start a podcast. A video podcast.
Listen to the voice of the steering wheel. Oh my gosh.
It's our voices that matter, so we don't want people to be distracted by...
Comment and subscribe if you think this is a dumb idea.
Stop that. Stop that stupid pandering. Every YouTuber ever.
Comment and subscribe if you're sick of commenting and subscribing.
Alright.
We're on the way. Where are we going? Are we allowed to talk about that on a podcast? I don't know. Should we define the rules of the podcast during the podcast? Is that meta or weird or just bad form?
I think you have to pretend like we're just talking to each other. That was the whole concept, right?
So, Eli, what's going on with you?
All right, you're really bad at this.
Oh, really good.
I thought you would be better, if I'm honest.
That's what you remember.
I've had better podcast hosts. I've had better. Sorry, we just watched Liar Liar.
It's my favorite movie. One of my favorite movies.
Is it?
It's really hard to say your favorite movie because if you watch it too much, then you kind of lose.
No, I'd say your favorite movie you can watch it an unlimited number of times.
That's true.
That's one of the signs. So I think that's why Liar Liar isn't your favorite movie, because I don't think you could watch that over and over again.
Well, I legitimately, after we watched it 10 minutes later, I was like, can we watch that again?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You wanted to rewatch it?
I love that movie.
See, I like it, but I don't think I could, like, when I love a movie, I actually can watch it, like, twice in a row. I think I did that once with Princess Bride. I literally watched it twice in a row.
Nice.
Which is pretty extreme. I think I could do that in Braveheart. I think I could do a 6-hour Braveheart marathon.
Wow.
Which is just Braveheart twice in a row.
Well, part 1, part 2.
Yeah. Hey, the two parts are the same.
Those are just a warm-up.
Well, that'd still be better if they had done that with the Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, God.
Actually, they could just re-release the... Whoa.
Yeah.
They could have just re-released the whole thing.
Just
its original. Just change all the actors and do the exact same scenes.
Just make Luke black and Leia gay, and you basically have modern retelling.
Would that make Han Solo a woman?
No, he's so masculine and sexual that she makes her straight.
Oh, stop it! That would instantly get canceled.
I think actually, I just realized, I think because for a long time my favorite movie that I always go to is Robin Hood Men in Tights. So like,
I haven't seen it in a long time. That's one we could rewatch.
Let's do it, and then we'll watch it again afterwards.
Actually, your favorite movies can all have the same actor.
I was just literally just thinking that. Cause like, I also really like Princess Bride. It's like, maybe I just really like Carrie Elwes.
Yeah, except you really didn't like him in Liar Liar.
I did. I like him as a character, not as a person.
So I actually think, though, it really shows off his acting range.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he can act the suave cool guy and the dopey wannabe husband. Nah. It's the cringiest thing I think I've seen in life.
Yeah. It's funny that both you and Vicky both hate that movie for being cringy, just at different parts.
I don't actually hate cringe.
Okay.
I just hate that it's the same actor.
Yeah.
I just like, it's only cringy because one of my actors from my favorite movies and my favorite characters.
You genuinely didn't believe it was him for like a good portion of the movie.
What,
like,
you can tell the movie
ended?
Not him. I still don't see it.
Yeah.
No mustache, no coolness. Cool factor 0.
Went for the stages of grief.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Why is he in this movie as a total dweeb?
I would pay to get this movie redone without him.
Yeah.
Bartering.
I don't know. Put Steve Carell in there or something. He's a good Jim Carrey wannabe.
It's true. It's just Bruce Almighty again.
Oh.
You got coronavirus over there, right?
No coronavirus.
Oh,
I actually choked on a piece of tuna wolfing down that lunch. It was so dry, right?
You just gotta tune it out.
Stop. All right, let's make rules for the podcast. No puns.
I refuse.
No bad puns.
I have nothing else to give.
Oh, don't sell yourself short. You're a very interesting person.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet. If that was real.
It is real.
Oh, bless.
You have a personality.
Oh. Not a good person, just a personality.
Hey, look.
I'm willing to give some, but not the whole yeah.
Well, there's too many people without a personality, so I think that's the right
true.
direction.
That's a
step
very
in the
good
right
point.
direction.
And I appreciate that. That it's like common sense. It's far rarer than it should be these days.
Yeah.
So many people are just their whole personality is one trait about them. Like so many women, like the cheerleader syndrome, where it's like all they are is their beauty, and then when they get to like 20, 25, and they realize like, oh crap, I can't get by my looks anymore. I need to develop something, but by then it's too late.
Is it too late when you're 25?
I mean, if you're bitter about it, it will definitely take a lot longer. That's where you get Karens from.
Do you know anyone like that?
Huh?
Do you know anyone like that?
Not personally, because I don't associate with people like that. I don't associate with bitches.
Jeez.
Where the hoes at? I don't know. Anyway.
I just wonder. I wonder if that's actually... I've always had that theory, like if you're very attractive, then it kind of... You almost get by, so it makes you a little lazy.
Well, I can tell you from experience.
Why?
I have no idea.
Why? Because you're not gorgeous?
I feel like I'm just above average looking. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with me or my face. And that's okay. I was never bullied for my appearance other than my yellow teeth, which is fair enough. I had bad dental hygiene for a long time.
Okay.
But that was more like people were picking on me and they chose something to focus on rather than they bullied me because of that.
Okay.
You know? So I feel like because of...
So where does fatness fall in? Just life choices?
Laziness.
Laziness.
And eating my sorrows away.
Okay.
Mm.
But I do wonder if that's I'm sure there's like a bunch of PhD papers on it and stuff about... That's a good thing to actually look up. Because I do wonder if it's like an assumption people make, but I wonder if it's true. It's one of those assumptions you just kind of make, and people comment on based on experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence to it. Like it's a stereotype.
Yeah, but to be fair to the cheerleaders, like I wonder if it's actually true. I wonder if gorgeous women, people stereotype them then because they're gorgeous, even if they have other accomplishments, and
it's come back around a bit.
Yeah, and they're able to hold their own.
So I think these days it's no longer the case as much because you need to do a lot more to pass by. Like cheerleading won't get you as far as it used to, as an example. So they also have to be, no one's knocking the fact that they have to be really strong and athletic and flexible.
But what about trophy wives are still a phenomenon? That's essentially the same concept. It's
that's the ultimate cheerleader. It's like you actually get a lifetime subscription to being taken care of.
There's like a WAG, right? The concept of a WAG as well, right? But then again, you have someone like Victoria Beckham, who's kind of a business woman in her
That's
own
true.
right.
She was her own person before she married.
Yeah.
If anything, David Beckham is the trophy husband.
That's actually a good example of like.
They actually work well together because they're both self-made pretty people that may not have as much depth to them as other people, but they're solid.
But do you think they don't have as much depth to them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I've seen... that's the stereotype again. That's working against them.
Yeah.
But like I've seen David talk on his own, like in interviews and stuff like that, and apparently he does have a bit of a temper, has a bit of entitlement, but he's also a decent person. Yeah. So it's like he's just... regular people.
Well, so I guess this is kind of my point. Like, it's just everyone's kind of, a regular person, and the perception changes because of celebrity or because of attractiveness. Or is it because actually attractive people do get away with doing less, and then it can happen. Like, it's not like every case, but it happens enough that people notice where being attractive means you get by with doing less, and so then
I would say it's definitely
people use it as a crutch, or they lean on it, right?
It's like natural talent. If you have raw talent in something, you're not going to work as hard to develop it, which can work against you. If you have natural beauty, you're not going to try as hard. If people, like, for example, this is a documented case that women at bars tend to get bartenders' attention far more, and they'll often get in for free or for far cheaper because they want the women in there to attract more clientele.
Well, that's literally the idea of ladies' night.
I mean, that's also a case.
Yeah.
But they do it anyway. It's like an unconscious bias to let the hot girls in.
Yeah, but that's intentional as well.
Yeah, but it's not.
Ladies' night is let the girls get free.
No, it's every night.
Yeah.
Ladies' night is just we're just not like
it's
hiding
Tuesday
it
because they can't get enough people in.
Yeah.
So that's.
But it's like there's often a bias from They're told like, look, if there's like 2 people waiting in line, let the hot girl in without checking her ID or whatever like that, just because she's more desirable.
Yeah, that phenomena is obvious. My point is the other half of that phenomenon true, where because you get special treatment, does that affect your ability to develop yourself?
Absolutely.
And be more.
Because it's like it's like a crutch. I can get by on this. Why would I develop the other aspects of myself?
Yeah. So it's almost like you have to make a conscious effort not to fall into that trap.
Yeah, and
if you're exceptionally.
And a lot of people do.
Attractive.
There are some people, some women like Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish.
girl.
Yeah. Well, she like consciously until she was 18, consciously wore like loose fitting clothes, nothing, everything baggy to hide her body so no one could sexualize her.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to be known for her music. Which is, the fact that she had to do that.
and she ended up being known for like super emo takes or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know anything about.
That's her music. That's fine. That's part of her.
Billie Eilish. Except that PewDiePie mocks her for being fake deep. Or maybe he doesn't mock her. He mocks her stans for being fake deep.
That's between the two of them.
Does the term stan literally come from Eminem's song?
You say stan.
Have you not seen this phenomenon?
No.
Where it's like, we stan so-and-so. Which literally means like we're fans and we,
Ah, I hadn't heard about that.
You hadn't heard about that? Oh, so it is a modern phenomenon. I think, and who knows where these things come from, but like even the word meme comes from Richard Dawkins. Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins created a meme which is describing what he defines as a meme. So it's the perfect meme.
The idea that an idea can spread like a virus is mimetic.
And it's spread like a virus. But he called it a meme in his book, right? So it was the first meme is the word meme. Well, not the first, because it's always happening, but it like kicked off the.
That's like saying, what's his name? Newton invented gravity. That like a lot of people do say that, but it's not true. It was already there.
Yeah.
He just quantified it.
Yeah, and so Richard Dawkins coined the term, so it caught on and spread.
So it is meme. It's not meme. Whoever's doing that, Jesus. It's not GIF either.
It's definitely meme. Because it's a play on the word gene as well, isn't it? Or is it mimetic?
It's mimetic. So I can see why people can say it's meme, but you wouldn't say it's. The word itself is derived from mimetic.
Yeah, no, I think
it's
the concept.
It's just easier to say.
Yeah, of course. One syllable versus two.
Okay.
So, what were we talking about? I was talking about how it's meme. Yeah, so who knows how these things start? But my assumption is it comes from Eminem's song "Stan," about the super obsessed crazy fan that
Is that the "I'm not afraid to take a stand," or is it something else? He literally says "take a stand" in that one, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it's the guy's name is Stan, and he's like it's a song. It's a bunch of letters from a super obsessed fan. And then like Eminem writes back because he says, "Whoa, dude, you're like going over the top." But it's after the guy wrote about like how he's gonna drive off the bridge with his family or something.
Oy.
Like it's like really extreme.
Yeah.
So it's kind of dark. So I just wonder if that's where the word "stan" comes from, or if it came before that, and that's why Eminem wrote it.
Maybe it just rhymes with fan.
That might be why it caught on, but I'm just saying, where did the idea of "stan" come from? And I think it comes from the song. I genuinely do. I have to look it up now.
If I was going to run for president, I would change my name to Stan, just so my kind of be. We stand with Stan. Has to be catchy like that.
Oh, what about "Think High, Vote Low"? You don't like that one?
Ugh, it's annoying.
Yeah, I know. I've always known it's annoying, so I was like, I can't really use it.
Yeah.
It's too cliche-ly stupid.
What does "think high" mean?
High ideals, high vision,
You don't think about ideals, you live ideals.
No, you just think about them. No one lives ideals.
But that's the thing, if you think about
What's wrong with you?
That's the problem then. You're exacerbating the problem.
No, I'm not. It's just human nature. You
about ideals.
You can't live to the extent you think. You can think
absolutely,
a million miles a minute, but you can't.
It's like you can learn the entire day. You're only going to take about 10-20% of that by the end of the day. So you got to live as much as possible so some of it gets through. But if you just that's why I'm annoyed with philosophers, because they, as much as they advanced culture and all that, they didn't do anything. Okay, that might be an excessive generalization on the entirety of ancient culture.
If anyone lived their ideals. It was the philosophers. Like, they just sat around and lived according to the, ideals they preached.
But that's the thing. They were
to teach other people philosophy.
They were so comfortable that they could just sit all day thinking about and talking about it.
I don't know if they were
have to work.
comfortable.
What was their job?
I think they got paid to be philosophers.
Exactly. What a
Well, they're teachers.
jewel of civilization that they could
they
be
were
paid to
teachers.
think.
No, they were teaching. They weren't just thinking. Come on. I mean, I don't know what Socrates was doing. He just got killed for asking a few questions. But I think he was teaching. I think that's the point. He was teaching people to think the way he thought.
Then that's something we should
Although
more
it's
focus on today. Then, like teachers these days again.
Is it
crapped on.
Aristotle that was after Socrates or Plato? Plato was after
Like we
Socrates.
actually, that's the thing. We looked into this. We actually found out, and then we forgot it. 10%, 20%.
What do you mean?
You only retain about 10 to 20% of stuff you learn in a day,
Oh, yeah.
which is why you can't or you shouldn't cram the night before. The only reason you should cram the night before
Well, it's because you can retain it for 24 hours.
Yeah, it goes to the short-term memory, which is great.
Of course.
But if you actually want to, that's why standardized testing is bullcrap, because it doesn't test ability, or it tests your knowledge or your ability to test. It doesn't actually prepare you for life. It's
Well,
stupid.
it always depends, right?
Learning, the learning to learn. Sequential sequential testing, whether you test like every week, every 2 weeks or something for something small. It's like, oh, I've learned something new. Let's test it, and then we'll build on that next week, and we'll test that. So you're actually reinforcing layers of learning and capitulating, and it's slow, but it's consistent. If you just have all the tests at the end of the year, you're just going to get a bunch of burned out people who then go into society jaded and cynical. And
Yeah,
in
well,
debt.
that's literally Korea.
And America.
Well, except they don't have debt.
Yeah.
Well, no, America doesn't do like crammed testing.
They've done testing on what's it called, Hell Week. Students during Hell Week have brain patterns similar to psych ward patients. Like their brain is damaged. Maybe
What's Hell Week though?
Hell Week is when everything's due.
So you mean the university system?
Yeah.
Yeah. The university system is much similar to the Korean system, where you just have all your tests in the same 2 weeks.
It's like, whose bright idea was that?
Well, it's probably just practical from the teacher side to do everything, have everything handed in at the same time, and then you can just grade it all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's efficient, but that just speaks to the whole problem of the whole class system is indicative of, and passed down from a factory model. Let's just ship out kids in like groups of 30, and prepare them for the workforce. Like, that's no longer the case. That's no longer how we live. So the school system is
So how would you design an ideal school system?
They need a lot more budget. Obviously, that's a big problem. Okay,
You gotta work with what you got, though. You can't magic. If you had more money, you could do anything. You could get everyone a private tutor.
So okay, what are the limitations here? Do I have the exact same budget?
Let's assume you have the exact same budget.
All right.
That's the actual budget you have.
I would open up.
It's not a bad budget either, because the money per child is something like $5,000 to $10,000 a year, which isn't a lot.
Yeah,
but
it's workable. It needs to be more efficient. I would say primary school is generally okay. You kind of learn what you need to know, the foundation, like numbers, math, general arithmetic, language, basic history, geography. The foundations for actual learning and life skills.
Yep.
I feel like they could be updated a bit. And
with what? More math?
I think more typing classes. I mean, they're probably doing that in other places, but there's no standard for it. But
okay,
typing,
so like some computer usage stuff.
which is happening. I'm not saying it isn't. It's just it moves
slow,
so quickly. The updating method should be like almost yearly. Like, oh, what have we changed? What have we learned? How can we make things better? The review process should be streamlined, because just having meetings and reviews isn't going to speed things up. But it needs the implementation process needs to be a bit streamlined.
Well, so I'm saying, let's say you had a private school as well.
If I had a private school,
How
what
would
level?
you teach?
What age kids?
Let's say it was all ages.
All ages. So I'm teaching kids from 14, let's say 4 years old to 18, and they're all going to be in this school for their formative years, all their formative years. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it would have to be, I would say up till about 10 years old. That would be like, say, 4 to 10. There might be a creche, a Montessori for that kind of thing, and then you'd separate into, say, year groups, which again is difficult because everyone has different birthdays. But anyway,
Wasn't that how they do it now? It's just by the year group?
Yeah. So it would be, if it's just one school, I'm not saying, because then if you didn't separate them, but just because one school doesn't have to be one building, so there's a separate area for the younger ones. And that would be relatively unchanged, or as close to it is now, just with, say, more emphasis on what should be common sense and you learn later on, but like cybersecurity stuff, how to, protect yourself online from phishers, scammers, and child groomers.
Wait, what age is this?
This is younger. Like if you already like as in primary school. 14.
Okay.
I would say like 4 years old, but maybe when people, because
well, like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
If anyone's using a phone or online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyone, because they're very powerful devices, far more than we give them credit for. We can't, like, too many people just give their phone to children and expect them to just like, oh, they'll be fine, they're not going to figure it out. They will. I've given my phone to kids and they've taught me things about them I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Just because they will try everything.
Yeah.
By accident sometimes, but they're smarter than we give them credit for, and they're curious and inquisitive. So before they do that, before they have that kind of power, which again is another issue, should we give those kind of things to kids? Then basically,
it's almost a matter of whether you give it to them or not. They'll get their hands on it somehow. Right?
Exactly. So it's let's assume they're going to get it anyway. So maybe
especially around 10.
Yeah. Especially if all their friends have it.
Yeah.
So maybe a smaller contained phone. Maybe it doesn't have data, but it's like, so if it needs Wi-Fi, so you can at least keep them in the room. It's contained. They can't access the internet unless you can keep an eye on them. That's an idea. All needs is one friend with a hotspot to ruin that, but still. But you can control that. You can say you can control where the phone can go through different domains, so it can't actually access stuff outside of the building. That can be done. That just needs more effort on the person setting it up. Anyway, I know it's like control versus freedom, but when kids are younger, they need that kind of containment. Otherwise, they're going to jump off a cliff. They don't know what's down there.
Yeah, no.
So
it's a good. I mean, I like the idea of kind of
and just
computer literacy, essentially.
Yes. Basically, it's like you teach a kid not to stick your finger in a light socket. You got to teach a kid not to talk to people that you don't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to verify the other person online. Again, that you need end-to-end encryption and stuff like that. Some people can't hack. You don't want like some 46-year-old man getting into like pretending to be Jimmy from down the road, even though he might already. Anyway, getting off topic. But yeah,
you're like trying to figure out how to hack your own security system while you're talking about
That's
it.
how you do it. You hire people to break into your system.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway.
But anyway, the point is some basic level of security and literacy.
And this is my area of expertise. I'm sure there's other areas like maybe basic like banking skills. Maybe it's a bit too early for that kind of thing.
Well, I'd say middle school. Definitely.
Middle school, definitely. That's where
when
I
you
want
start teaching, like
around the time people kids,
how credit scores work.
Taxes. That's a big one. And
that should be definitely a high school course.
Yeah, exactly. So around 11 to 12-year-old, that's where the school system would open up a lot, because that's when kids open up. That's when they're not kids anymore. Their minds open up a lot more. They are growing. They are.
Well, you think about a system where you forget age, and it's just completely based on the level that. Yeah.
Okay.
So like they only go to the math course that they're at.
That's another thing. That's another thing I was going to bring into. Like, if you wanted to start at just like with the same budget, but ideally you would have one teacher, or no, teachers and mentors are different. You would need mentors or mentors and coaches. Teachers would be purely like the tutors. They would teach their expertise. And then you have people like personal trainers, people who are experts in motivating people.
But then are the ratios the same? Because like, for example, if you wanted extra staff like that, let's say you had 50 teachers in a school, would it be 40 teachers and 10 mentors then to try to balance that? Like, it's not, remember, you have to stick to the same budget.
Yeah, of course. So how many kids do I have?
Let's just assume it's a public school. I don't know, 600.
It's a private school.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, let's say you can get 1,000 people.
1,000 people, all the same age? 4 years old?
No, let's say that's the gauntlet,
all
right?
Age group. Okay.
All age groups, so it's somewhat evenly distributed with some variation.
Okay.
Standard.
It's more of an academy at this point, what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, so I'm thinking of a boat repurposed into an international school.
Literally like an actual location.
Well, no, there's no location because it's on a boat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you're like going like through the logistics. So would the boat travel around, or is it moored?
No, the boat would travel. That part of it would be real world experiences.
I like that.
Where
the problem is, how would you get the kids picked up? Are they living there? Do they have dorms on the boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be a boarding school. a private boarding school on a boat.
Nice. I like it.
Right?
That's cool.
They
'Cause then
come home for the summer.
You have swimming classes, you got fishing classes, you got boating courses. That's great. These are all life skills, especially when global warming, shrinks the ice caps and everyone's training future captains and leaders.
Yeah, okay. Teach them how to captain the boat.
But that's the thing, you could work it into geography and history. It's like, look, we're off the coast of Senegal right now. Look what happened.
Well, that's exactly what.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is we go up and down the coasts of Europe.
This leads into another idea I had. Sorry to interrupt. Just like if you need a really big boat, then
we're talking cruise ship kind of thing.
It would be bigger than a cruise ship, or it'd have to be.
It can't be bigger than a cruise.
Yes, you can.
I mean, you can, but why would you need bigger than a cruise ship for 1,000 people?
Well, that's 1,000 kids and all the rooms and facilities.
Yeah, but a cruise ship handles more than 1,000 people.
That's true. I actually don't have it. I haven't been on a cruise ship in a long time. I don't know how many.
Cruise ship's only about 2.5 billion.
Easy. You just
2.5 million. Sorry.
Okay, much better.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say million. I get my billions and my millions mixed up.
It's
all too much money.
Anything
money I will never have.
Anything above working wage. Anyway, I actually had the idea of like a kind of arc ship, like a moving city, which is again out of scope for this, but something.
A moving city. Jeez.
Yeah, I have the idea of like.
You mean like
an arc.
An arc.
Like a floating island, essentially. That's
self-sufficient. So you mean like 100 cruise boats rigged together?
Maybe not 100. I was thinking more like 2 repurposed Navy aircraft carriers, and you just fuse them together.
Are they actually bigger than cruise ships, though? I think
they can be. The super carriers are freaking. I think they're the biggest nautical. No, they're some of the biggest nautical ships. But the problem is they're so big and heavy, and they carry so much. They can only be powered by nuclear reactors, which I don't think they're big on civilians holding, especially around children.
Okay.
So again,
so we're talking cruise ship.
Going out of scope. It's a cruise ship. Okay, yeah. Repurpose a cruise ship.
It kind of reminds me of the. I don't know if you ever read the sci-fi book. Where this advanced alien race. They found, this was way before the theory of global warming, it was written in the 60s. The biggest problem for maintaining the life on their planets was heat. They couldn't keep everything cool enough, right? So they had 5 planets fly together so that all the farming was on one planet. And then...
It's an agri-world.
Yeah, it was basically like they linked 5. It's kind of like the 5 ships together make a village, right? It was kind of like 5 planets traveling together, and somehow they were able to kind of maintain some level of kind of like containment.
A solar ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But did they still rotate around it? Did they orbit a sun, or were they just free in space?
They were moving them, so they were free in space.
So they were self-powered, self-generated.
They were somehow powered, yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Well, because they were a super advanced civilization, right?
What I want to get to the point is that we can put a Dyson sphere around a sun and just carry that around with us.
So it was kind
of
talking
as much as you can carry a star. Yeah. Sorry, because that'd be cool. Because then you live on the Dyson sphere. That's a civilization. You
live on the outside.
Yeah,
with the sun on the inside.
The sun, the inside is one massive solar generator.
So in that same book, it was called The Ring World, and I remember now. Have you read that one or heard?
No, but I know the concept.
Well, the concept was like, the world is literally a ring around a planet or a sun, right?
That's.
So it's like the inside. What was it?
Inside is solar.
I guess there was no. I don't know if it was the inside ring of a sun. I don't think it was a sun. I think it was just like an empty planet.
Okay.
Like a planet that didn't have life or green or anything or atmosphere. I have to remember how they did it, but somehow it was built as a massive ring around the whole.
Like halo.
Yeah, and somehow that gave it a lot more land surface.
Interesting.
Than it being inside on the planet.
Yeah.
All right. So it's kind of similar to a Dyson sphere, except only a ring of it.
So that makes sense in a way, because if you do like enclose a star, the rest of the system just dies.
Yeah.
So you are sacrificing a lot.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there. So that's where we'll set up our academy on the Dyson sphere.
Oh, jeez. We just went kind of off script a bit.
That's my favorite concept, is that if you can make a good process, the scale doesn't matter. Just the work increases.
I think scale always matters, though.
I mean, of course it matters, but the process is still the same. It's like if you have to lift an engine out of a car, or if you have to lift a car out of a hole, the principle is still the same. It still has to go up. You just need more work. You need more pulleys. It's just the scale is just amplified.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you might need, like, instead of being like one guy with a small crane to lift the engine out, you might need like two guys with a bigger crane to lift a car up.
Yeah.
Or one really strong person to just push it out. Anyway, the bigger the problem, the more solutions. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Going back.
Education.
Yes. So middle school era, around age 11, when people get to that point, they would graduate into the advanced programs. At which point they are now guided. You know, when you get to around, like, as it is now, around 16, 17, once you have mandatory education, then you are given career guidance and say, oh, this is what you can do now. Now you're free. I think that should happen much earlier, but still with guidance. Like, we recommend this. You've done really this. We've noticed you're really good in this. You excel in this. These are your weaker areas.
So people would be more specialized at the end.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Because
and also they do things they maybe enjoy more.
Yeah. Because if you enjoy something and you're good at it, and it's a useful skill, that's you set for life. That's a vocation. That is a hobby. You can, because people always say, like, if you do something if you work money doing something you enjoy, then you'll never work a day in your life. And, like, that's self-actualization. That's reaching the higher tiers of motivation. If you can do something that you enjoy, that provides and actually, like, provides for you.
So I'm just thinking that's just something ugly people say in the same vein.
No, there's a
that's just something that unemployed people say.
But see, there are different things. There's a hobby, which is something you do for yourself. There's a job, which is something that you work at that earns money, but you don't necessarily enjoy. There's vocation, which is when you can do something that you enjoy and you can profit from it. And then there's another one, I forget. It's something that you're genuinely good at.
Yeah, I think there's also, that's what the Japanese have a word for that, right?
Yeah.
It's like the three concentric circles all over a lap.
Like there's always and then there's was it Hertzberg?
You're really good at something and you love doing it and you make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, that's self-actualization. That's your life complete, essentially. That's something you can do and be happy. Like that ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
So there's
doesn't tick all the boxes.
Well,
there's a few boxes I still need ticked.
Of fulfillment.
Ooh, what's that? That's badger.
Dead badger. That guy did it.
I don't think a bike could knock over a badger.
Because he would have to just ride around it and, like, oh god, or just bunny hop over it, badger hop, whatever. Anyway, off topic. So
badger hop.
There's two things you need to enjoy life, or enjoy your work rather. There are motivators and there's demotivators. You need to actually have motivators in place, but they're not. There's a standard for going. You can go to a job. Like, the motivator is pay. The more you get paid, the more motivated you are. Demotivators are things like bad working conditions. You might get paid really well, but if you go there and there's rats flying around, you're not going to want to work there.
Flying rats.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. I mean, pigeons, whatever.
They've evolved.
But yeah, you're not going to want to be there for all the money in the world. It's like, it's not worth getting bitten by plague rats, So
how much money would it be worth?
Again, it would
kind of.
Okay, exactly. More motivation is required to counter.
Yeah.
They counter each other.
Okay.
But certain things.
So again,
a lot of people are content with going to a job if there's no demotivators.
Yeah.
That's how you start. It's like, okay, this job fits all the requirements, and then if they have they have a coffee machine, that's motivating, great. But if those increase over time. Like, if every job you've had has a coffee machine, you go to a new job, they don't have the coffee machine there. That's now a demotivator. That's my new standard. I need a coffee machine there to work.
Yeah.
But also other things like job security.
That would be a big demotivator for me. Unless they had a nice cafe around the corner, because I tend to.
So it's a substitute, but it's still.
And then it all comes down to a monetary value.
That would be a motivator. Like, oh, there's no coffee machine, but they have a nice coffee machine. Their coffee place. A motivator replaces that demotivator.
Okay, all right. So you have to balance your motivators.
Exactly.
With your motivators, yes.
And that's different per person. I know it's very difficult to generalize, but you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea that people pick professions that they're more passionate about
Yeah, like some people generally don't mind about like working outside. Some people hate working outside. For them, it's a demotivator. Like I know someone who is really good at geography and like part of her degree.
She hates working outside.
She hates working outside because, I mean, understandably, as a woman, you can't work out in the field and just go to the toilet. There's no bathrooms. For a male, it's not as big of a deal. You just kind of go somewhere. But anyway, for her, it's a huge demotivator.
Yeah.
Even though it's paid more, she would rather work in an office because at least that's stable. There's a bathroom around the corner.
Yeah.
There's a coffee machine. You know? There's no wind. There's no rain. Those are demotivators. Some people love that. It's like, oh my god, I get to work outside. I get to work with animals. Motivators.
Yeah.
So again, specialize.
So would you get zoologists starting at like 15?
If people
It's
love
not a bad
animals,
idea.
yeah. There's an entire animal section. Like it can be as simple as just like animal
On our
grooming.
cruise ship?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Should we call it Noah's Ark?
We don't want them breeding unless this is like a generational school. But you know that would keep.
Are you
things
talking about
going,
the
but-
students or the?
Well, if we can make them, yeah, we're gonna make our own perfect society. We train these kids to be, you know, the new Ubermensch, and then we have them breed.
Sorry.
No, okay. In all seriousness, though, we are trying to train them to be the next generation of better people.
Yeah.
So
well, you wouldn't want you'd want some chickens and cows on the cruise ship, right?
that's how much space do we have? Do we like?
It's a cruise ship.
Okay.
Plenty of space.
How much? But then how much
Also,
is the
they
farm?
go over first if we start to sing. Just need a little lever to release the cows. Sorry, that's so terrible. I just feel like we need to make this a video, like a movie.
We need someone to animate over this.
Yes.
Noah's Ark gone wrong. It's like, oh god, we
Release
have
the
to
cows. Release the chickens. We're still sinking. Release the children. Because they can swim.
Release the fat ones first.
Oh no! Stop it.
I mean, if you're at that point,
Keep the cheerleaders.
they're more likely to survive. They need less food. It's just more efficient. We're in a crisis.
Terrible.
Plus, they can, you know, spin around in the air. They can dodge missiles or something. I don't know. That's another thing. We got to worry about Somali pirates if we're at sea, if we're traveling around the world. That's the thing. Do we have security?
Of course, we have security.
Do we have security schools? We can train them to be apprentices in security. A very valuable life lesson. They learn self-defense from it. Again, and it's
We
little
give them guns.
No.
What about mutiny?
Exactly. We're not stupid. We're not going to train kids to attack people. I feel you don't need guns to have good security.
So what if the Somali pirates come?
Well, then you have.
Do we have cannonballs at least?
That's another thing. What if we have like a really good, like Captain America? Ideally, he had a really good shield.
Yeah.
What if we could just like say contain the ship?
So
What if they can't get on?
They can't get on, or if they
They'll
get
just
on,
go
they're
somewhere
stuck.
else. Yeah, they'll just
That'd
go
be
somewhere.
great, actually.
Yeah, like
you let them get
bulkheads.
on, and then you trap them.
Yeah, prison. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing is bulkheaded anyway. We just have a sequential system. If they like, oh, they're in the outer shell, pirates are coming. Quick, everyone, retreat. Again, drills. Everyone gets used to discipline. Kids, orderly fashion. Go down to the lower decks, lock everything off. Pirates come on, lock them off. They're all done. They're all
You
locked
take
in.
the oxygen out of the room.
If they're unruly. Otherwise, we just send.
We said we guide them towards the cows.
And then
Release the cows and pirates.
It's meat day, boys. Looks like meat's back on the menu.
We
And then
figured
the pirates and then the pigs take
pirates
care
get
of them.
the pirates get the cows.
Yeah. And then they sink. It's great. And then the cow floats. And then
Do cows float?
I feel like they would.
This is a deep,
Yeah.
important question.
There's a
Let's
lot
look
of-
it up.
a lot
Do
of
cows
follow-up-
float? On that happy note, we're home. So
lot of
we'll have to continue
action.
this in our next
Follow-up
shot.
actions.
A lot of follow-up research required. Do cows float?
I'm excited. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
All right. Bye-bye.